The first, knocking down a three. He had 17 in the first quarter. Then first play of the second, look at the dime. Little dish, 6 assists for LeBron. That one to Montrezl Harrell, who had 15 points off the bench. Lakers up 13. But in the fourth quarter, this was a close game. Lakers up just 2. LeBron, defense, offense, flush. He was 19 of 26 from the floor. He really took over in the fourth quarter. Look at him going up, swatting that one away from Colin Sexton. They called it a goaltend, then they overturned it. Then he's knocking down a three from the logo. That gave him 36. A minute later, the step-back three. Now he's at 41. A minute left in the game. Little Bernard King baseline action. LeBron James, 21 in the fourth, 46 points on the night. The Lakers remain perfect on the road. They win it in Cleveland, 115 to 108, so they're 10-0 on the road. And with that 46 points, he's the oldest Laker with a 40-point game since Kobe Bryant scored 60 in the final game of his career. And of course, today marks the one-year anniversary of Kobe's tragic death. It was Sunday, January 26th of 2020, when Bryant and his 13-year-old daughter Gianna and 7 others were killed in a helicopter crash in Calabasas, California. The days and the weeks that followed were marked with emotional outpourings of grief and appreciation from around the world as people celebrated the life and the legacy of one of the great legends that we've ever seen in sports and well beyond. And so we have Jalen Rose with us today. And, you know, Jay, we just talked last week because it was the anniversary of the 81-point game, and we were remembering Kobe then. And so I just wonder, when you woke up this morning and you knew this was something everyone, and yourself included, would be talking about, what were the first thoughts that went through your mind?
Well, it's really tough, Greeny, because, you know, it's only 1 year. And we get introduced to these all-time great athletes and entertainers through their performance. But then when you start to get to know them and appreciate that there's a game of life that comes with this. And Kobe Bryant being drafted in 1996, and Jerry West saying that that was the greatest workout that he'd ever seen. Drafted by the Hornets, traded for Vlade Divac to the Los Angeles Lakers. Was a child phenom in the NBA annals, but he wasn't a starter on his own team. And a lot of people, including in his own locker room, resented that he was presented to be the golden child so very young. They go to Utah, they lose a playoff game, he shoots multiple air balls at the end of the game, and people start to assassinate his character. What does he do? He gets in the gym, he starts to work, and before you know it, Kobe Bryant becomes a 3-time back-to-back-to-back champion playing alongside Shaquille O'Neal. And then another, I guess, turbulent career thing happened when he and Shaq didn't see eye to eye and Shaq left. You remember this, Greeny. People chose sides, and they picked Shaq. The public picked Shaq. And then Shaq went to Miami and won a championship. And I remember covering the game when he and Dwayne Wade came back to play at L.A. versus Kobe. There were no handshakes that game. And so for Kobe Bryant to then reinvent himself again, change his number, win 2 more championships with Paul Gasol and Phil Jackson, that validated in his mind his all-time greatness. And we talk about Michael Jordan or LeBron James or whoever you want to be the greatest of all time, but I tell you, if I look really close, there'll never be another Michael Jordan. But Kobe Bryant is the next best thing. The turnaround jumper, the language at the press conference, the maturity, the discipline, the love of the game of basketball. Kobe loved nothing more than his family in basketball. And that also rubbed people the wrong way as a young player in the league, Greeny, because he was scoring 20, 25 points a game, but he was barely 21. And so to watch him grow up in front of our very eyes and see the 40-point explosions for a month and the 60-plus point game against the Mavs in 3 quarters and the 81-point game that we celebrated last week, and 60 points in his final basketball game? Mm-hmm. Like, who scores 60 points in their final basketball game and then goes on to win awards for his work beyond basketball? And you know, for doing this for so very long, Greeny, you got trophies on the mantle. You got championships. You in the Hall of Fame. Kobe was accomplishing that already in his young career as a producer. So we really lost a giant. We lost an iconic human being that just happened to play basketball. And it's really too soon to be having this conversation about somebody that's gone so very young.
It's a beautiful remembrance, and you're right. He won an Oscar, is what you're talking about, and had his sights set on so many other things that he wanted to do in his life. But one of the things that I wanted to do here was try and remember him with a little bit of a smile today. And so I'd ask you this. We talked about the 81-point game, but when he won his first championship, you just mentioned the three-peat, they beat your Indiana Pacers. How would you describe what it was like trying to guard Kobe Bryant at that point when he was at his absolute best?
So that series was his coming out party, Greeny. Phil wins a championship in '98 with Mike and the Bulls. He goes to the Lakers, and they win 3 straight in the early 2000s. Shaq fouls out. I think it's game 4 or 5, and they go into overtime, and that's when they went into what we used to call with MJ the Bermuda Triangle. We just give it to Kobe at the top and clear it out. And that's when he pointed to the ground after he made the jumper to get down and lay down. And that wasn't just to the opponent. That was to the media. That was to the fans. And you know what else? That was to his bench. I was on the court. That was to his team, too. That was them having to validate his greatness in front of the world. And it was really awesome to see. And I'm really proud that one of the most shared Kobe Bryant clips virally is a clip produced by Nanachka Khan and Melvin Marr and myself. And enjoy it today if you want to smile from Kobe Bryant and myself. It's called 81 Olives. And I really appreciated him doing it. And it's going to put a smile to your face on clearly what's going to be a tough day as we remember an all-time great human being.
Yeah, that was from Jalen versus Everybody. I remember it well. And he had a good sense of humor about that stuff. And that's the hardest part about today. Like Michael Wilbon mentioned it, you know, we lost Hank Aaron last week, and that's sad. But Hank Aaron lived to be 86 years old. He lived a full life. We missed out, his family missed out, and Kobe missed out on a lot of things that would have been special today, the one-year anniversary. Jalen, you're the best. Thank you for the remembrances this morning, and I know you will have much more.
I love you, my brother. Have a good day.
Through the day. You too. We'll see you a little bit later. Meanwhile, we will have basketball coming up tomorrow night on ESPN. Star-studded NBA doubleheader. LeBron and the Lakers taking on Joel Embiid and the Sixers. That's the early game, 6:30 Eastern. Then D'Angelo Russell, Minnesota.